Okay. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Master of the day of requital, thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favours, not of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray. We are continuing a letter that I was telling you guys about. I was reading through it, and it's a letter to the Eastern world of Islam. You know, I find that there are so many things that need to be done in this time that, I mean, the Islamic world and the Western world of Islam, the nation of Islam, are like two ends of a bridge, and the middle is just empty. There needs to be some form of like connection that can be made. That's just my view. This is just the way I see it. You know, I think we've all sinned. Um, we've all earned the wrath of God in some way, shape, or form. But when we open up in prayer, there we hear that He is the beneficent. He is the most merciful. And I think that despite the differences that are quite apparent in some instances, in most instances, with the Islamic world and the nation of Islam, I do believe that there can be a bridge that can be built, and there can be some form of discussion that can take place, and some area where we can be in a dialogue together. And yeah, I just think that, reading through this, I've wrote a letter based on like the idea of this and the thoughts going into it, and my observation of the Islamic world, my real true confidence in the nation of Islam, my resilience, my what's the word? There's a word for it. Begins with a C. Anyway, it's doing my head in now. I'm sure that it's the truth. Farrakhan is not just some, jumped up geezer. Like, he's a 91, nearly 92. I think he's 92. I don't even know. I think he's 91. He's over 90 years of age. Do you know what I mean? Like, anybody who gets to that age deserves respect. And then when you observe a person at that age, and then you look at the works that he does at that age, and then going back all throughout his life doing that work, you know what? You just find out more about the brother, and you just think, wow, like you are like, it gets better. So we're gonna start with Farrakhan. We was gonna go. Like I say, we was gonna go into like the next part of it this week, so that's what we're gonna do. I hope that was a better opening. I've done like 3 takes of this already, and it's been terrible every time. I've been thinking, is it the right day? But I'm really not bothered right now. I really don't care. I'm trying to get through it because I made a promise that I would do it next week, and I don't really want to leave things. I've got a thing for starting something and not finishing it, and it's really doing my head in. That's a personal, little thing going on, and so I want to start, and the minister needs help, yo. Like, I don't think you guys understand, like, when the minister is about to go, I don't think you realize how bad of a news that really is. Like, good in the ultimate grand scale of things, because things will start to move quicker, and yeah, as intensifying as that may be, there will be some, it'll be a mix of things. It's everything that's good is going to get great, but everything that's bad is going to get worse, and we have to really understand. We have to level up, we have to really stand up for this man. we have to stand up for this man. We've got to stand up and do something for this man. We've got to show our love and appreciation for this man. Because I was listening to Brother Joshua last night. Brother Joshua Farrakhan, you should check his interviews out on the People's Podcast. And he goes on to say, he said something really beautiful. He said something absolutely fascinating to me. He said, people a million years from now are going to wish that they was born in this time to help this man do what he's doing. And to be in just the presence of him, never, let alone to work with him. And he broke down in tears, you know. Because I guess when he said it, he must have thought, wow, I'm working with the man, you know. So it's a big thing, you know. If you know who this man is, again, we're not going to go into all this right now. We've got some spiritual mirrors to look into, and we're going to get through them in this letter, inshallah, which means God willing. So we're going to start with Farrakhan. I hope that is a better opening than the others that I've done. So let's just get into it. Let's just go.
When you got that kind of an assignment, everybody's not going to like you.
Yes, sir.
When you have that kind of a mission, if you're not prepared to live for your mission and die for your mission, then leave the mission alone. We live in a world of fake Jews. We live in a world of fake Christians. And we live in a world of fake Muslims.
Also, because you might be deterred by his language and his passion, but I don't think you understand, like, if you do believe in God, you know, or you're wanting to learn more of God, you are concerned, and if you're not, then you're not really conscious of what's going on. And I don't really care about your feelings either when I say that, because we're so deluded to think that we can hold things and not have its substance, you know. And that's really something. Like, it's almost like, well, I want to be a king, but I don't want to be a king. Do you know what I mean? I want to be a king by label, by title, by all my powers, by all my, you know, my status and all that. But when it comes to actually the heart of what a king is, when it comes to the true, it's God-given, you know. It really is God-given. So a lot of these people just have to submit and become servants. And this is it. Like, you know, it reminds me of something. You know, when you see everyone in Mecca, and what a beautiful place Mecca is, as we got to in the last letter, you know, I did acknowledge you for keeping it so clean and so beautiful on the outside. Well, Mecca in this example is like, you know, when you see everyone around the Kaaba and they're all dressed in white and they're all making prayer, and you can't spot the difference. You can't spot the difference because they're all aware of their place with Allah. They are all servants. They're all humble, you know, forgiveness-seeking servants. You know, they. So we've lost an element of this that is really the most important, because, you know, I wrote down the other day, our self-concept is really dangerous. Our self-concept can be really dangerous when you're in Islam, because, you know what I mean? Like, I look at Trump, I'm like, who the hell do you think you are? Like, pardon my expression and pardon my passion. I just think we're going way beyond our, you know, beyond what we deserve, to be honest. We really, and again, it's not probably an easy message to take, but we're not in an easy condition to deal with, so it's not going to be like, you know, I protect you from the growth that you need to go through. You know, I have to make this known. That's why it's a mirror, and that's why Michael Jackson, he talks about that mirror and that man in the mirror, and I'm starting with the man in the mirror, you know what I mean? But sometimes we hate those things because that's where the true growth is. That's where the problem is. We're telling everyone it's because we're in a position to redirect, where the faults are, or redirect where the problem is, deceptively. Do you know what I mean? We can do that. That's why we hate the mirror, because when someone's really real, when someone can be real, that's why they say keep it 100. Like, when someone's really real, when someone's love is real, when someone's study is real, when their desire to help is real, you know, it's real, man. It's real, and it's felt. And I had a lot to say about this, and I've got something to add on before we go, because it's powerful. It says the most authentic voice is the gunshot in a crowded room. And that's true. That's what Farrakhan is in this world. He's like the gunshot in a crowded room. As soon as he speaks, boom, like, what was that? What's going on there? Sorry, my stomach's rumbling because I'm fasting today. Anyway, praise be to Allah. Let's keep going. Oh, I shouldn't tell you I'm fasting. Anyway, I shouldn't have told you that. Praise be to Allah for reminding me to not do that ever again. But praise be to Allah. You should all fast, While I'm on the subject, you should all fast during this month of Ramadan. Try to figure out what's going on with yourself, with the world, with the faith you're in. Be real. Be honest with yourself, man. Like, listen to Farrakhan as well.
The real Jew, the real Christian, and the real Muslim stood up. They would stand together because they would be standing on principles of righteousness, truth, and justice.
Yes, sir.
But when we are beset by false Muslims, false Christians, and false Jews, the people get deceived who want to find God.
It's powerful, man.
The people get waylaid who want to truly serve God. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's why Satan must take over the mosque, the church, and the synagogue. And Satan has already done it. The church is not the church of Jesus Christ. Jesus would disown many of us who claim to be his. The mosque has been taken over by Satan. That's true. And so has the synagogue. So will the real Christian please stand up? Will the real Jew please stand up? Will the real Muslim please stand up?
And that's something that I'm going to make. It's just a quick note. I hear you all saying, you're not real Muslims over there. Like, you're not a real Muslim if you're following Farrakhan. You're not a real Muslim if you with the Nation of Islam. But I don't see you doing skip. I don't see you having no effect on the world. I tell you, Mohamed Salah, who's a football player, has more effect on this world than you do as a whole unit. And you could say I'm being horrible. You can say, but I tell you, you really have to be humbled, these days, man. Again, you gotta watch the last letter. You gotta listen to what I've been saying. You really have to look in the mirror at yourself, like, and really ask yourself, what is Farrakhan's motive first and foremost? You have to understand people's hearts. Like, somebody like Farrakhan doesn't just go off at you or go into somebody else's, faith or fraternity or whatnot to go and splurt some words out and to be, you know, hateful. That's the way that you guys perceive it. But it's not. Love can go wherever it pleases. That's something you should know. Love has a right to go wherever it wants to go, because it's what it is. If you love someone and they fall, and you love them, you have a right to go and when you're catching them, they may be looking at you going, "Why are you like trying to help me?" And it's like, because you know you've put the love in, so I can catch you if you fall. See, if we fall, you might not catch us when we fall because you don't love us like that. You know, you judge us a little bit too soon, Islamic world. You know, you don't realize, like, I've met many of you, I've been in the space, you know, with many of you in this sphere of thought, and you are a very interesting people to observe as it relates to your own teachings, your own scriptures, your own understanding of things. So try not to say we're not real Muslims. Try to say maybe there's something about what makes them Muslims that we don't have, that perhaps we need, that we can learn from, that we can settle a difference on in spite of. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So let's go.
So that the world can see what Christ intended, what Prophet Muhammad intended,
Yes, sir.
what Moses and the prophets that came to the children of Israel intended, but not this farce,
Yeah.
this charade
Yes.
that is going on in the name of righteous men.
Yes, sir.
There's a song that they sang once. The masquerade is over.
Yes, sir.
And when the masquerade is over, those perpetrating fraud are exposed. The peoples of the world have been deceived. Yes, they have. As it is written that Satan would transform himself into an angel of light. And he would deceive
The whole world.
the whole world. Now that is some deception.
Yeah, it is.
When you can make yourself look good, so good that you deceive
The whole.
the whole world. Now, there are counterfeiters.
See, you know, you are looked the part. Do you know what I mean? Mecca, it looks the part. You know, it looks beautiful. It's like you wear the robes, you say the greetings in the perfect way. You don't miss a syllable. You don't miss a phrase. You don't miss an accent or an accurate. I don't know what that is, all that stuff. But you know what I mean? It is so angelic in a way. Because like I've been with, you know, brothers and sisters, you know, and I have that sense, there is that real angelic sense, you know, that you are sincere, right? And I guess it comes from you genuinely being sincere, the ones I've met anyway. But you just being misinformed or misdirected, or you've miscalculated a lot of what you do have there already, or you think you know what you don't know. They're the instances that I've like. I think that's enough, by the way. I think, honestly, you only need a small dose of Farrakhan, you know what I mean? Unless I should keep going. Now, do you know what? I'll do an extra 5 minutes. I try not to speak too much today, even though I've already failed at that, because I've already spoke like way more than I probably should have. So we'll play Farrakhan for a bit longer, because let's just do it.
That practice making false money. And there are dirty trick squads that when they want to destroy the economy of a nation, they take their currency and counterfeit it and spread it to undermine that government's economy, because currency must be backed by something.
Wait. I don't know. I'm going to need to go back here because you can look at that from a spiritual element, which I always find a way to do. So imagine the counterfeiting money being a truth or being something that you can make mischief with. Think about that. Let's go.
The whole world. Now, there are counterfeiters that practice making false money.
So the false truth, it's like the false truth in a way. Do you know? It's like the false truth. You can counterfeit the truth, or rather, the enemy can counterfeit the truth, or can come in a counterfeit way. I don't know. That's what I'm getting from it.
There are dirty trick squads that when they want to destroy the economy of a nation, they take their currency and counterfeit it and spread it to undermine that government's economy, because currency must be backed by something. The counterfeiters are so good that now they made a new $100 bill, a new $20 bill.
So they're making it look exactly like it. This is what he's saying. What he's saying here is, Satan can transform himself into an angel of light. He's showing you how on the money, pardon the expression, he can make it. He can identically match it up with what looks. You know what I mean? Can you see what I'm saying here? I hope you can. I've got my hands up and everything, so obviously you can't see me and what I'm saying. But the point being is, like, you can genuinely see that obviously in this perspective that we're in, the letter, the devil knows how important the Quran is. The devil knows how important the Bible is, and knows how important this man is as well. So, just think about everything that will take place, in those moments of him knowing that. He has to get pretty close to that, So he has to make it look exactly like it. So I just find this interesting. Really interesting. Let's go.
And the minute they made it, the counterfeiters went to work on it. They even make counterfeit leaders.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh.
Counterfeit messiahs.
Oh.
Counterfeit prophets.
Yeah.
You see, the enemy is always interested in putting up a false one to hide the reality of the truth.
Of the real one, which is you.
And that's why I chose for my subject today, he came that we may have life and have it abundantly.
So we're gonna leave it there because that's a beautiful way to end. Because that's ultimately the motivation here. We don't want to take from you. We want to give you. We want to relieve you of the burden of the false religion, of the false way of seeing it, of the underdeveloped jahiliyyah, or rather, do you know what I mean? We've got to update this thing. It's like an iPhone, man. Like, you don't update that thing, it's going to start messing up. And you know what? Maybe it sometimes messes up after you get the update, but that's that's life, innit? So point being, we have to know the prophecy, know the scripture, so we know what to look for, so that when he arrives, then we're gonna be like, there we go, we're at it now, we're there now, And even if we're not, be human, man. Be just real, so that even someone who doesn't necessarily have a particular faith would listen to someone like this man and go, you know what? Despite his religious views, despite the differences, I like what he's saying. I think it's right. I think it's what we need to hear. Do you know what I mean? This what we're so we're gonna so I'm just gonna go straight into it. Remember, we're on page 4 of this letter now, so I'm gonna go into page 5 and probably just the end of page 5, honestly, because I've already been talking so much, and I'm aware of how important your time is, and your attention span is not very great these days, mine included. I just understand it. So let's go. It says, I really want to reiterate and make very clear that I'm not coming with a divisive intent or a spirit that wants to make mischief and be unnecessarily or overly negative and dull. So if that's all you're hearing in this letter and from the minister, then I want to disabuse you of that. Because the truth is, I listen to Farrakhan very much. Even when he is on screen, he's always on the screen. Even when he isn't on screen, he's always on the screen in my mind. And I have heard of the experiences over in the Eastern world of Islam, and have experienced them for myself, to some degree. And from what I've been hearing of your opinion of him in your heart, you really need this kind of message to show you what is best for you, to show you that it's best for you to be patient and to investigate this man and these men. That as we, I need to kind of go through this a little bit slowly. Be patient and to investigate this man and these men, and that as unto the east, and as light once was shining from the east to the west, Allah is now making the light shine from the west unto the east. That is what I was about to say. That's what I was struggling to say. That's Matthew 24:27 as well. So if you want to write that down, study it, and really understand the meaning of it as you come into this conversation, you will, I don't know, maybe that will benefit you in some way. In studies, let's study. Also, Brother Joshua, oh my God, the brother is like on my heart, so heavy right now. He makes it very bold in his traveling with the minister how well received he is over in other countries, to a degree that's, I mean, he made a documentary, and it's on NOI.org under Let's Change the World. It's a project. It's a complete project. It's like it took him a long time to do. It has all of the ministers traveling experiences and interactions, with leaders, presidents, musicians, famous people, stars. And, you get to realize that, I mean, this man is so well received, but I'm really speaking to those who kind of operate in the shadows, and even though they may not hear this message, if you hear it and you're not in the shadows and you're just kind of on the outside with a few question marks over your head, maybe it's not meant for them, because some people are just too arrogant, man. You won't reach the principalities that operate in high places, because they can't take, being a servant, they have to be in a position of power. Like, they can't just be a humble little servant that does a work. They can't just, it has to be, I am, but I am, So yeah, anyway, too much talking. And it's not a case of giving you what you want to hear, but really it's about giving you a well-balanced message that you must hear right away. Because at the end of the day, this is human life we are being entrusted with by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the lack of true light and world binding truth coming from you, and frankly is expected of you, that lack, it is a reminder that you do not have the light, or rather it is a reminder that you no longer are the light of the world when it comes to wanting to know the truth of Islam. And if you do have any light left, it is slowly being finished by those around you who operate in the darkness, whether you've been made known about it or not. The minister told us just the other week, so this was obviously not the other week because I wrote this quite a while ago. So the minister told us, in a critical hour, be critical, not hateful. See? So again, this is not hatred, this is a clear message wherein holds a concern for the masses who will soon start to come to Islam by the thousands as the time and circumstances become more difficult, and they have got to know, they have got to be coming spiritually westwards into our arms and not further eastwards. Again, it's not about you or me, us and you. It's about the human life that Allah has entrusted us to have authority over, guidance over, to be given. It's like an orphan, and you being like, a father, or you're looking after an orphan in a way. You're looking for people who are fatherless. You're looking after a person who's lost their mother or their father. You're trying to, it's deep. It's deep. You gotta learn how to do that. You don't, all these people, man. Like, just think bigger than you. It's bigger than you. Getting in a vehicle, you know what I mean? So getting in a vehicle, wearing the tires have worn out is different than getting not only a new set of wheels, but in a brand new car. As hard as it is to come down hard on you for what's occurring, telling how it is, I again want you to know that I mean well, and I must write these things lest Allah leave me wandering blindly. And if you don't believe me, go right back to the top and study the first words I gave you. Did I say this last time? I had a feeling that I said all this last time. No, I didn't. I think I read through it the other day. Anyway, so yeah, to go back to the top dead quick, just a real recap, just dead quick. It's not gonna be long. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had many deep and timeless words, and I would like to open this letter with these words from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. If anyone vows to obey Allah, let him obey him. But if anyone vows to disobey him, let him not disobey him. It's powerful. So I will not let you disobey Allah. You know what I mean? I will not just sit knowing that you're not doing the right thing, that you need help in doing the right thing, and then me not offer a damn thing, because that would just make my love shallow. That would make my heart would grieve at even the thought that I can't offer anything of good. All I can offer is just, you know what I mean? It's fickle. Our love has become very fickle in this world. And Allah is really a loving, 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 loving creator. And he expects us to be in a state of genuine pursuit after our people who are, wandering blindly and don't understand. We should be honestly, like, I don't want to make it too personal to me, because once we do that, it'll get deep, and I don't want it to get deep. I want you to be, enthralled by what Islam has, waiting for you, and what God has waiting for you in the Word. It's not gonna be easy, and nobody says it was gonna be easy, but there is something so beautiful and so relieving in knowing that your Lord is one. So, now, in truth, it can be and has been very exhausting to deal with you, because in truth, most of you are so misunderstanding and envious of the progress happening about the Nation of Islam, and have become so royally arrogant that you make it not only hard for us to teach you, but ultimately you make it harder for yourselves to come into the meaning of things. And then I've put the Quran 1044. Should we check it out? Quran 1044. I'm interested now. And it's Jonah. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Indeed, Allah does not wrong people in the least, but it is people who wrong themselves. So let's try apply it back to that. Yeah, so being envious of the progress. I mean, how much more wrong can you do to yourself? Anyway, why do you eat from an off fruit? Why do you eat off fruit from an old withered tree when you can come and get some brand new fruit from a brand new tree planted by the very powerful Mahdi or Christ figure whom you are and have been looking for? It makes no sense to me, brothers and sisters. I ain't gonna cap, pardon my expression. This is actually what it says in the letter as well. I ain't gonna cap, pardon my expression. I am quite like that, I try to keep it, like, because I don't want to sound like a robot, I'm not some AI thing going. Not some AI thing going on here. Artificial insanity. That's what I call it. You convulse the mountain out on me sometimes. You really do. Even some of your most wisest and most notoriously wise teachers and scholars, they know who Farrakhan is, and also scripturally know who he is. Who he is and who he has been, the bold and beautiful representative of, and that's Elijah Muhammad. We know that. We kind of got into that a little, not enough, never enough, last time. So, you all have even gifted him. We're talking about the Minister Farrakhan and how the holy, so-called holy sheikhs or whatever you want to call yourselves, handle the Minister Farrakhan. Again, I'm just here to make you look in the mirror, It's you that said you were holy, bro. Like, it's you that said you were, the grand sheikh, the this, the that. Like, come on, man. Come on. I'm not coming with no love here, mate. I'm coming with love. I'm coming with, you know what I mean? It's painful, this, man. This is real pain, Alright. You all have even gifted him many things and offered staffs, swords, hats, turbans, gowns, robes. I even saw, I can't even make it through this letter, man. I saw a video where the minister is given like the status of an imam in the Muslim world, and a load of sheikhs and sort of scholars and whatnot, they put the turban on his head, and they say, we recognize you as, because he recognized it's like the Quran says it. Praise be to Allah. The Quran says they recognize him like they recognize their own sons. So it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. There's so much in it. Silver platters and gifts. All the gifts in the world you could imagine, including your time, of which you found to be so well spent in terms of teaching that some of your scholars, he left not only speechless but sleepless. See again, quite funny. I mean, there's also smile on that. You even sat the minister Farrakhan up in the big seat at the palace there at the holy city of Mecca during his world tour, 53 countries. A lot of them countries being Muslim, and a lot of them at the very least searching for a leader or a trustworthy advisor or guide. Not to compare, but Farrakhan, unlike any other leader ever before, he has been the only leader who called for 1 million men, and well near 2 million men showed up in one destination. And not only that, so many people would have tuned in all around the world as well. So if you count those people, it probably goes way beyond 2 million. It probably goes into the millions and millions, because that was an astounding event. And you should go on Google and type in the Million Man March, and you go check it out, because the facts of it are that nobody's ever pulled that many people into one place. I believe it's a world record or something, but that's something, you know. That's something to look at, guys. 1 million men in one spot. Michael Jackson didn't even do that, and that's something. All right. Yeah. Shut up. Anyway, there were many other special treatments that he had during his stay with you in the East. In fact, very important ones. My point being, oh yeah, I don't know which sheikh it was, but it was your most. Wait, is it the Boona Sheikh? If it is, praise be to Allah, because it just came. The Boona Sheikh, I think it's the Boona Sheikh. I think it is, but the point being is that they had a meeting, Minister Farrakhan and the Sheikh, the main geezer. Sorry for my language. I really shouldn't speak like this half the time, but I do, because that's where I'm from. So they had a meeting anyway, and it was powerful because the way the minister describes it, he describes it like, you know, he was the epitome of the remaining light that is still there in the East. You know, yeah. So anyway, you take with that. Do with it what you will. But I'm trying to say something there. There's still this. Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. All right. My point being, they, sheikhs and scholars, they know something or sense something about this man, Farrakhan, and who he represents, that you, the so-called lesser of or not learned in the Arabian world, do not know. That maybe you ought to take our word for it instead of theirs, because remember, Allah says in the B, 16, in the Quran, the chapter called the B, 1663, by God, O Prophet, even before thy time we sent apostles unto various communities, but those who were bent on denying the truth have always refused to listen to our messages, because Satan has made all their own doings seem goodly to them, and he is as close to them today as he was to the sinners of yore. Hence grievous suffering awaits them. It's deep. Also, and then I've put in brackets as well, also study chapter in the Quran, chapter 29, 38. So, you know, for more and stuff on that. Also, I must say my reading is not great. It's not great. It isn't great. I'm not that good of a reader. I'm very good at just going sort of just with the spirit, and that's me. I'm off. You'd probably be able to tell that already. But that's not the point. I need to get better at it, and I do apologise, because it's a really serious letter, and I hope that you can encapsulate my spirit as we move through this, and you can see that I'm trying to do my best, okay? And reading is not my best thing, So I'm trying to do this, and this is a big letter as well, so pardon me. And one day, when the second part in this folder, we're still on the first part, when the second part is done, I will, inshallah, if it be the will of Allah, I'll be able to put all of this in a format online, and you can just read through the whole thing yourself, and therefore you won't have to have me doing your head in, making too many mistakes, reading it all. So, yeah. So yeah, I apologize if I'm being a little bit slow today, or I'm not as, with it kind of thing. Allah is the master at, withholding things and giving us things. He is the withholder and he is the sustainer. And he is the master of the day of requital. So, we said that at the very beginning in prayer. He's the master of this hour. He's the master of this day. And he knows best where to place his message. And the minister is the best place he could have placed it. And I'm so grateful to know him. And again, I'm just here because I want you to know him. And I want you to know all the good stuff that I've been given as a result of just being a humble servant and being somebody who's aware of how important it is to be in pursuit of the truth in this time where there's so little of it, or seemingly so little of it. There really is a lot of it. It's just we're not in the right position to be as a magnet of it and with it. Do you know? You can draw it in if you got the right key. You got the whole house to yourself then, kind of thing, because you can get through the door and you can go and look around and stuff. And this is like a book, if you can think about it like this. The world is like a giant book of Allah's mind, God's mind. And if you have if you have eyes to see, ears to hear, then you're able to look around in the world, in the book, and read things a little easier, because you can trace it back to its, if there was a Ford car in the back of your garden, and you had no idea, and there wasn't no such thing as a Ford, you'd be a little freaked out. There wouldn't be much that you could say, well, that happens because that, Mr. Ford, he created it or whatnot. That's his car, and they must have built one and put it in my back garden. But no, if that's what I'm trying to say. If we don't know where to take all of this and source it back to, then it just goes into thin air and we end up so confused. Or we just tie it into our own, if you could see what I can see, I mean, in my mind, is something. It's like tying things to the right place instead of tying them in strings together, and then you saying, look at my wisdom, look what I found out. If you trace it all, like not even a bit of it, all of what you got going on in your life, all of what is out there in creation back to the creator, you will. Let's go to the green field, yo. This is so random, innit? I was in the middle of it, but let's go to the green field anyway. Because, we're done with that Farrakhan picture, and plus this is a little, as beautiful of a face as Farrakhan has, I feel like this will help in moments where I'm babbling on and doing whatever I'm doing. Okay. Anyway, let's move on positively. So, moving forward, I would like also to ask, why do you have this construed ideology of shirk? And where have you got it from? And what's with this hesitating spirit, or this refusal to honour or even acknowledge a truthful, compassionate man that you only know of because of your leaders, who, again, I repeat, have deviated from the path of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and have, since that point, took you into the condition that you now deep down you know you need relief or guidance out from. We should settle it once and for all. You know, you bring 12 of your most profound and powerful scholars, and we'll bring 7 of ours. And let's watch what happens. Let's have a dialogue. And as the Quran says, let's argue in the best manner. Argue with each other in the best manner. And let's do it with love and with reason and for truth's sake. See, we are not seeking to divide ourselves from you, but we are calling for this dialogue to guide you as the Mahdi has guided us, and to show you how big that gap really is between you and humanity as a whole, and Allah, us included. Elijah Muhammad asked a question to Farrakhan. He said, "Brother Farrakhan, what is the best religion?" Of course, Farrakhan replied, "Islam," trying to impress the teacher. And at that time, but look at the, he's trying to impress the teacher at that time. But listen to this now. Listen to this. Look what Elijah Muhammad said. He said, "The best religion is to do unto others as you would like others to do unto you. Want for your brother what you have for yourself." Boom. Like, boom. When you want for your brother what you have for yourself, and you're in this world, and you're favoured in this world, then you're in pain. Because what you'll find out is whatever you got for yourself, you see so many people that's without it. And, that is something, That's even, a lot of people might say, that's such an easy thing to do, want for your brother what you have for yourself. But I don't think they truly understand how deep that goes into the bounds of love, into the walls of love. Because you then go into the element of those who died in the past. What did they die from? They died giving you the truth because they wanted for you what they had for themselves. And they were willing to die. See, Jesus is the perfect example for that. They were willing to die just so that you could have the truth. So a lot of people might say, "Oh, want for your brother what you have for yourself." Oh, I can just chuck him a fiver then. I can just, give him a car. I can just tell him well done. But no. What it means is, it's so deep. Oh gosh, I'm not gonna go into it. I'm not going into it. It just means to go into the triple darkness. In fact, you know what? It's really not triple darkness, even though it is. It's like triple lightness, if there's such a thing. Or rather, I'll say light upon light. Because you're a light within yourself, but you're trying to work to initiate a light within someone else. So you're a light upon a light. So it's light upon light, And, God, I mean, it's something to want for your brother what you have for yourself. Like, what you'll really go through. The misunderstandings, the people's thinking that you trying to make them, all of that, man. It's not going to be easy, I'm in a much different mood than I am usually on this podcast because, this is bringing out of me a lot of stuff this Ramadan, and it's been really powerful but also very painful. So, yeah, the best religion is to do unto others as you would like others to do unto you. Okay, so again, don't get it twisted. This is no competition or no game of top trumps, but we are saying that you must come back to the truth as taught by some of our and few of your own beautiful scientists of scripture. I and we are aware that you acknowledge the Mahdi on that part or within that culture of the world, and you acknowledge the second coming of Christ, who is to be with him. So what is the matter with you then, when I am not just saying one of them have revealed themselves, but two of them, and now all three of those men are telling you something profound about your own beloved Prophet Muhammad's directive messages and revelations. They were messages that were for a people who would be alive at the time of the revealing of the Mahdi. One could say that the true deniers of the book are those not only in the past, but the hypocrites and the secret disbelievers in the very thing that brought the minister to become your teacher in this world and the next world if you submit. I think it's time for you to meet him face to face through the teachings that he, Mehdi, came over from Mecca, as we spoke about in the last one, to the western side of the world, America, to deposit. Why do you reject this Mehdi? It's because you don't find him, or because he didn't come to you. It's because you didn't find him. It's because he didn't come to you specifically. That is why you reject this man, in which we say, sorry, I'm just getting the pages, in which we say and know is the great Mehdi. The unfortunate truth is, you are rooted in self-exaltation just because Muhammad was among you during his time. And you need to get out of this thinking and come to terms with accepting truth from men that you think, and you might think, have no authority to correct you, when in actual fact they do. It's just you don't authorize them. It's just you didn't authorize them. Somebody wiser than you did. Look, I'm not oblivious, nor am I afraid of internationally addressing yours and our ignorance. I'm merciful with your condition, but when it comes to it, I will address your ignorance in one form or another. And if I pick up on it, the best among you will thank me and feel the right feeling about it. Others, however, might well just have a deep hatred for it because there's the attitude of how dare this unproven newcomer with zero credentials give check to me, you know. But I've put, but let me ask you something. Did Prophet Muhammad have any credentials before Allah chose him? Well, alright then. A Jewish rabbi said to Farrakhan, it's not for you to criticize our behavior, that's for us to do. Farrakhan said, oh really? You mean legitimate criticism is unacceptable unless it comes from you to your people? I say this to, so that's what Farrakhan says. I say this to say, a lot of people think, this is me talking, I'm not Farrakhan, that was the end of his quote after people. I say this to say, a lot of people think age or status or being somebody's son or descendant automatically admits them into authority or into a position wherein they can not be challenged for their thinking. But the youth today are just not operating on the old, for we are not, wait, hold on. But the youth today are just not operating on the old, for we are a direct, unapologetic manifestation of the new. Yeah, that was powerful. Yeah, I agree with that. A rich man can play broke forever, but a broke man can't play a rich man for very long. Point being, you need us more than you care to think such. You have to understand where my passion is coming from. It's not it's not like the teacher wait, start that again. You have to understand where my passion is coming from. It's not like the teachers in our old educational systems who were desperate to use the cane. I'm not desperate to cane you, but I am concerned for the students that sit in your class who you have been entrusted with. some of those students might be angels, they just don't know it yet. And do you all know that the punishments for taking an do you know what the punishments for taking an angel's freedom and conspiring to repel and fight the spreading of his wings? Do you know what the punishments for mocking and plotting against the truth is? Well, let's just say Allah is severe in taking retribution. It's heavy, this, you know. I think we're gonna call it a day. Like I'm in a place, me. So I thank you for all listening to me this week. If you've been listening, yeah, I need to go break fast. I need a date or something. Anyway, I thank you for all listening. May Allah bless you all. You know, we are talking about a subject that is perhaps I wasn't ready to readdress it. You know, I'm trying to be, again, sticking to my word and being on time. But, you know, sometimes you learn that things have a time and you have to be in the right energy to fully apply yourself to the best, to the fullest in that thing. But the time is running, man. And, you know, I guess hearing Joshua last night as well on the People's Podcast, he was so wonderful to listen to. And I was up all night watching him. He was so amazing. You should go watch him. He's a beautiful brother. And anybody who would like to help any man for that matter, not just Farrakhan, the man, but any man, should study how Joshua went about it. You know, he isn't the most, like, the best example in terms of how he went about it. I see, that don't make sense. But what I mean is, his heart was in the right place. His actions may have not always made sense, but his heart, oh my God, I will end up being in such a way if I think about his heart any longer. So, may peace be with that brother. And may peace be with you all. I hope that I said something that matters. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds.